This video is brought to you by Dad Dr. Kevorkian. It's the last drink you'll ever buy. Try some, won't you? There we go. Oh, we're up on the Coconino National Forest. We're all cruising around. Looking for some fire towers, or lookout towers, or fire lookout towers. You pick. Our first try is going to be Apache Maid. That's that big old mountain over there. Well, the valley's dried out a little bit. They've continued to get pummeled by rainstorms and actually snowstorms up in the higher climates of Arizona. They're actually still getting snow up here. In the middle of May. They've actually forecasted some snow this weekend, and the large ski area in Flagstaff called the Snow Bowl is still open for skiing in the middle of May. How wacky is that? Turkey. There she is, Apache Maid Lookout Tower. First up today is Apache Maid Lookout Tower. I will put specs for each tower within each tower's section, so you can year built and stuff like that. But this is Apache Maid. I've been coming up here quite a long time, and I think actually the guy who's monitoring the tower right now I've met before. I've actually done a video with him. So let's go up and take a look around. If you're afraid of heights, it might skiv you out a little bit. First time you do it, the stairs are all open, so you get a nice view of everything on your way up. Most of the towers now are all metal. And they're put up here, if you don't know, so that you can see a 360-degree view of the area and keep watch for fires. One of the best views in the forest. There's even a well pump up here. I don't think they use it anymore. It's capped off. Over there you can see Sedona. This is one of the nicest ones. Well, we're back here with Don. We were here a few years ago, and he's been gracious enough to give us a little rundown of his operation up here.
Okay, this here is the Osborne Firefighter. This is the instrument that I use to, when I see a smoke, what I do is I come in, basically sight in on it, rear sight and the front sight, and what I do is I put the crosshairs right on the smoke. I got the smoke in sight. Then I got a big azimuth ring here. Okay, so this here, the azimuth for the fire out there, if I had one, be about 268 degrees in 30 minutes. Okay, then coming up with a distance on this thing here would be where that red dot is. That would be Round Mountain. That would theoretically be where the smoke is. So what I do, count the squares, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's about 4 miles from here and about 268 degrees. And so what I would do, I get the degrees, I got the distance, and I got the color of the smoke. If it's a white smoke, of course, it's just going to be probably light fuels. If it's dark, it's going to be, we call them heavies, you know, trees and thick branches and that type of thing. So what I would do, if I get the information, call the dispatch. I'd say Flagstaff Apache Maid fire flash, and they'll say go ahead with your fire flash. And then what I would do, I would give the information to them, and then what they would do, they would come over here. They've got the same map down at the fire district dispatch as I have, and so they would say, okay, your fire, where the fire would be is going to be Township 16. Okay. Range 7 East. Section 30, 32 right there. Okay. So once again, Township 16. Range 7 East. Section 32 right there. Okay. So during the interim, the conversation, this guy picks up me talking to dispatch, and he says, "Hey Don, I got a cross on your smoke." So he has a cross on my smoke about 252 degrees, so he can cross it. Basically, it's triangulation. And so this person over here, a Hutch, this person says, "Well, hey, I can cross it as well." So they triangulate. So I got three triangulations on this location, so it's pretty well locked into this geographic location. So what they would do, the dispatch would call up an engine, and they'll say, "Engine 461, we want you to respond to a fire out in the Apache Maid area." So what they would do, they would give the legal, right, 16, range 7 East, section 32. And then they would be en route to the fire. And so what I would do, as we're talking, I would give them a smoke update and see what the smoke is doing. If initially the smoke is white, probably light fuels, but then if it goes dark, then we get some heavy material burning, heavier fuels. And so that's how that works. Pretty slick. This operation here is old school. It's just really old school, and like I said, these are all lookouts.
Yep.
And this here is once again same premise, string, and this person, if this lookout here can see my smoke, then that person could cross it as well.
Okay.
So there's times I'll get I'll get this guy call a smoke in his pocket, and so what I'll do, he'll give me a smoke, and I'll say, well, I think I can cross your smoke as well. So I would triangulate his smoke, and what it does, it just tightens it in far as where the smoke is at.
Wow. It's really simple, and if something goes wrong as far as electricity or something like that, it still works.
Exactly. That's exactly right. This here is if you had a compass. If I have my compass right here, this is going to track the compass. But being that this here is all metal, you don't have to worry about any interference with magnetic field. This is built by 1920, somewhere around here.
Oh, wow.
So it's by Osborne and Leopold. Leopold is the optical guy. Osborne, I think Osborne was both of them were engineers, I believe, with the Forest Service. Of course, Leopold went out and, he's an optic guy. Some of your optics. So yeah, but this is it. And so here we are. This here is the Apache Maid Fire Tower Lookout.
Very nice.
Been here since I think 61, 62, somewhere around there. So it's been here for quite a while, and they went ahead and revamped inside here and modernized it a little bit. So yeah,
Place to sleep and everything.
that's the bed.
Yeah.
I put my naps on it, and I got water supply, of course. In the corner, I got a heater, stove, and refrigerator. That's all propane, so it actually works quite nicely, actually. So yeah, at any rate,
Best job in the world.
yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
Pretty close.
It's probably not for everybody,
Yeah.
But this lookout, we get a lot of people. Probably, I don't know, maybe 11 to 1,200 people a year.
Yeah.
It's pretty busy. So we meet a lot of people from different walks of life, different countries.
Yep.
And everybody, when they come up, they said, they always wanted to come to a fire lookout, and so here they are. And essentially, what you asked me was what they asked me.
Yeah.
What do you do up here, etc. Does it ever get boring? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it's just, you can virtually do anything here, just as long as you pay attention to where the call the smoke's in and give them good information so they can respond to them.
Yep.
They mean the engines and the fire guys. So yeah. So
very good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We'll try this another 6 years.
Yes, sir. Starting to get a little breezy up here. Well, we'll jump back on and head on to our next tower. Doesn't want to stay running today. Well, we're going to go back down the hill. This one's my favorite. It's got just views on the way up, on the way down, not the tower. Probably one of the most visited towers in this forest. And if you're in a forest that has fire lookouts, it is a great idea to put them in your GPS, or at least know where they are, because they are a good source of help. If you're lost, you can get up to the top of the hill, you can see where you need to go. They know the forest, they can give you directions. They do have emergency communications if you're in need of help rescue-wise and that kind of thing. And I'm sure if you were needy, they would help with water if you needed it or whatever. But multi-purpose place to go. Buck Mountain Lookout. Looks like it is permanently closed. Well, I guess we get off here and hoof it up. This is a long walk at 7,500 feet. You can see by the fallen timber, the brush piles, and the big logs, they are denuding the forest. Doing a little cleanup. We're closing in on it now. So Buck Mountain Lookout, there won't be any bright happy faces here to greet us because it's closed, and that's why we had to walk up here. But it's a wood frame structure, not like the metal one at Apache Maid. Apache Maid, I believe, is from the 60s or so, from what the monitor was telling me. But this one, I'm guessing, is older. We'll know in the specs. But let's take a walk up there and see what we can see. Being a flatlander down at 1,500 feet, walking around at 7,500 is definitely a chore. There was a sign down there and just said don't commit any damage on federal property. The stairway seems fairly new. Oh no, I think it's blocked off. Yep, I could have told you that at the bottom. I got a partial view. Absolutely gorgeous. If I could take the pay cut, I'd sign up for one of these jobs in a minute. Well, I'd hoped that we got to see something at the top, but that ain't gonna happen. I suppose I gotta lock this stuff up so people don't wreck it. All the windows in the cab, which is what the top is called, is they're all intact, so I would say that's probably why it's locked up. And the reason for them being intact is because it's locked up. So we're gonna head down back to the bike, and what was supposed to be 1/3 of a mile turned out to be about 2.5. So I'll see you in a little while. Downhill is definitely better than uphill, and I'm sure glad to see the bike in view. Well, we're going to jump back on and head our next destination. I think it's Hutch Mountain. Alrighty, they must have taken down the sign on the other side. We had to turn around to see Hutch Mountain Lookout. Just 2 pleasant riding miles up this road. Well, we've arrived at yet another road closed gate. I believe it's still open to foot traffic. We'll jump off the bike and do another hike. Hopefully it won't be another 2.5 mile deal. I forget how far it is from this gate. The last I knew, this was still operational. They may just not have opened it for the season, but we will trudge our way up there and take a look around. Again, there won't be any bright, happy National Forest faces to greet us, but we'll at least be able to see the outside of the tower. So it has decided to start raining, so I don't think it's that far to the top. My GPS is not getting communication with satellites between the trees and the clouds, so we'll forge on here. Holy crap, look at this. It's snow. We are mid-May and we've got snow. This is somewhere between 7,500 and 8,000 feet elevation. Pretty snazzy. You can see all the snow patches down there. Yeah, we're not too far now. We're coming up to the parking area, I think. You can see it now. We just got a little bit more hike to climb up there, and we'll go investigate. We won't be able to get on the platform, I'm sure. I got another set of wooden steps here. Like I said, this is normally open. You can see the bottom of the cab up there. And it's blocked off, so we won't disturb that. A little 360. Looks like we got some weather coming in. I'm gonna head back down. Just like up at Apache Maid, except for theirs was up on the cab. There's a well pump here. What I was told is it's not a well, but it's a tank that they used to come up here and fill up. I'm assuming maybe through there. And they would come down here and get their water. Now they just use bottled water, tanks of water, little 5-gallon tanks of water, stuff like that, to keep them hydrated. This is obviously no longer working. Here's a little better view of the tower from the parking lot. So thunder and lightning's chasing us back to the bike now, so I'm gonna have to hoof it and head out from underneath this black cloud. Well, that wasn't even a bad walk at all. It was maybe a quarter mile, something like that. So at least we got up there to see it. Too bad we weren't able to get up in the cab and talk to somebody, take a look around. So we will shuffle on to our next destination. Well, I think our next destination is Mormon Lake. The weather will hold off. Well, we're not terribly far away as the crow flies, but that doesn't mean anything trail-wise. Just over a half a mile away. So I'm only guessing that this trail will get us there. Now, Mormon Lake Tower has been abandoned for years. At least the 15 that I know of that I've been coming up here. When first time I came up, it looked like it was abandoned for 20 or 30 years before I got up here. This one should get us up there. Should be a parking lot at the bottom with a sign-in box. Just like I said, here we are. So it's a rocky path. It gets rockier every time I come up here. The fence has been taken down, but I'm assuming that's been taken down by mischievous folks. There's still a sign that says no motor vehicles. We will honor that. You are allowed to come up here. I mean, there's a sign-in box that's no longer manned, but a lot of people come up here. It's a good place to visit, so we shouldn't have any issues. I've been up here dozens of times. So it is a abandoned one, like I said, and it's Mormon Lake Lookout. It's near a half a mile walk. And as I recall, a lot of it is this rocky path. It should be a lot more fun on the bike. Not sure if you can see through the trees, but there are definitely some menacing black clouds up there. Fixing to do something. Starting to come into view now. Tower's right behind this rock bluff, behind those trees. I'm coming up to what used to be parking area. Here we go. There she is, not much of one. We'll give you the specs in a little bit here. A little single track here. So the specs I post will correct me, but I believe this was 1920s vintage and had a really small cab on top. There's a old National Forest cabin just over the other side of this, and we'll go check that out. Looks like the steps were purposely taken out on this first riser. They exist all the way to the top. I don't know if I would trust them, but they do seem pretty sturdy. I'm guessing when they decommission these things that they take all the instrumentation out of them. I don't see any weather whirligig, you know, wind whirligig on the top or anything like that. So I assume the sighting tool and everything like that comes out because they're worth money. And most of the ones that are in the operating lookouts are from the 30s. Very simple instruments and they last a long time. And this, the first time I came up here, this is the living accommodations. For the personnel. When I first came up here, this was still standing. And you can see the condition that it's in now. My guess is that someday we'll come up here and remove all this. Which is a shame to see it go. You can see the old-timey National Forest paint logo or paint scheme. The boards, the clapboards used to be brown, and then at one time the trim was all green, and then it turned over to a yellow. The latest was a yellow color. Kind of that ubiquitous pale yellow and deep brown that you see on most of these signs. There's another cistern, I guess you call it, water tank, where they would pump it out. I would assume the wellhead would sit up there, and this may be where it would pump out into. I don't know. Nice look at the lookout tower, and I can see people have been up in the cab because there's bullet holes in the roof. I don't know. And I don't think this cab is, or this lookout is too long for the world. This guy wire is slack. So I mean, it's probably leaning this way. Some point in time, that whole thing's gonna come down. Well, that's why I try to document some of this stuff, is you never know how long this stuff is gonna last. Especially cool stuff like fire lookouts and, you know, miner shacks and head frames, things like that. It's good to get them before they rot into the ground. And one note, some of these, I don't know if this one is, but some of these towers, because they're so much like a windmill you see out in the desert that they used to use for farming, they still do. Those, I think they're called aerators or aero vents or something like that. They were made in Chicago. And the same companies that made the windmills made some of these lookout towers. Hey, let's head back over hill and dale here. So we're going to head down to the bike, get on to our next tower. I think we're going to probably skip one more abandoned tower because I don't even know if it's there, and it's heading right into the storm. There's one that's quite a ways away I'm going to try to get to, and that one's occupied. That one's got someone monitoring it. So I'd like to hit that one, get one more tower that's got someone we can talk to. What kind of white purgatory have I been sent to? What the heck? This is nuts. Freaking snow ride. But we are not terribly far from the Moki Lookout. I have not been here, so it's a good guess at where it is. I think this is the road. Oh, there she is. This would be quite a climb. Behind me is Moki Lookout. I'm going to take a walk up there and at least get the view, and maybe we can talk to the monitor that's inside. This is quite a climb. Let me see if I can actually make it up there. Well, darn, it's locked. That's too bad. That's a nice high one. When I talked to the guy at Apache Maid, Don, he said to stop by here. Anyway, I will have specs for this place somewhere in the video. Looks like they have a cabin over here that used to be the living quarters. May have been an older tower here at one time, because usually all the towers of this vintage have a full convenience of bed and kitchen and stuff like that up there. It's all boarded up so we can't see in, but hey, I guess we can see in. Not in very good shape. Yeah, there was a kitchen in here. A little place for, bet you could put a bed in here and stuff like that. Must be attic access. There was a wood stove here too. It's kind of a neat shot right there. Yeah, there's two doors here. You pull in here with your Model T, get in, get ready to go to work, out the other stairs, and then up the tower. Looks like they got a hummingbird feeder way up there. I wonder if they get any hummingbirds. Well, that's about it for Moki. That was a long way to go not to be able to get up there, but kind of early in the season. And they may not have them open. I would believe that there's somebody up there. They may be just away from the tower for a little bit. I don't see a vehicle here, so it's been pretty wet up here. They've had rain and snow and all that kind of thing, so you probably don't have to man them full time right now. But dry weather's coming, and the monsoon season's coming. So this is our last venture on this little shindig. So this was Moki, and you've seen the other ones. I will put a link at the end of this video for where I've got the information. It actually shows all 50 states. If you have fire lookouts or lookout towers in your state, you can click on your state and then they'll show a map of where they're located, and if you click on where they're located, there'll be those little teardrop things. If you click on that, it'll send you to a rundown of what that lookout is, all from when it was built, coordinates, if it's still running or not, that kind of thing. So we'll get the heck out of here. Well, we got what, 5 fire towers? Done about 200 miles, forest road and trail. I call that pretty good. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you watching any and all of my videos. Please comment, subscribe, like and share. Adios.